Aaron Tuttle here for Ferguson Roof Systems. For 43 years, Ferguson Roof Systems has been protecting Oklahoma's homes and businesses with quality roofing services. Their goal was to be the most honest and dependable roofing company in the state, all while providing free services such as lifetime labor warranty and annual inspections. Well, mission accomplished with thousands of client testimonials, an A+ Better Business Bureau rating, and a 5-star rating on Google. Look, the weather gives you enough to worry about, so why worry about who to trust with your roof? Call Ferguson Roof Systems today or find out more at fergusonroofsystems.com.
Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle checking in with you again. It is Wednesday night, almost about 9:30. We're going to be here for a little bit, just talk about the weather. Some big changes, obviously. You may have even gotten a little taste of today if you were lucky. I wasn't so much. I was in between two of those little showers that bubbled up, or thunderstorms you might want to call them. Got a little bit of wind out of it, so it did get some gusty winds. It did help to cool temperatures down a little bit, so that was nice. But we got more of that to come, so if you didn't get anything today, don't worry. Today was not the big day for rain. Today was going to be one of those isolated, hope for it showers, because they're still pretty dry in the lower levels of the atmosphere. When that front came through, and then now that it's kind of here, we'll start to moisten things up a little bit more. By the way, I see that already. Gina's in the house with some stars, so thank you, Gina. Same thing for you, Hillary. Appreciate you, ladies, on Facebook. All right, I'll tell you what. Let's go to YouTube here real quick. You guys for checking in. Nancy's always in the house with Rhonda. And Jody's, by the way, on there as well. She'll see Jody both on Facebook and on YouTube, just typing in and helping out in the comments section. Guys on Rumble, also welcome. Twitter, welcome. And of course on Facebook, the main page there. I'm going to post the link for you guys on Facebook right now. If you want to sign up to get direct notifications from me when I go live, just fill in that link, that information, and that way you won't miss it. That way you don't have to depend upon the algorithms to let you know. I can just let you know directly. Okay, so out there currently, like I said, I watched some showers go by my place, and of course it's getting dark now, but the clouds are still kind of lingering in the area. We've got temperatures that are about just under 92 degrees. I'm at 91.6. Still feels pretty warm though. Almost feels like 100 degrees out there still. Just the humidity that's kind of increased around the area. A very light east southeasterly wind. I kind of had the front stall, looks like basically on top of me. Earlier today I had a wind gust of 44 miles per hour. That was a nice cool rainy breeze, so I could definitely use that again. Now, if we do look at the current hazards from the National Weather Service, the heat advisory continues, but it's down here across southeast Oklahoma and into northern and northeastern Texas and Arkansas, Louisiana, etc. So we're kind of chipping away a bit here across the body of the state. Now, we did get some rainfall, like I mentioned, but not a whole lot. Most of the areas basically focused in across the Panhandle, far northwest Oklahoma. And then we had those little deals pop up here along the frontal boundaries that kind of worked in the central Oklahoma and points out to the east through Tulsa, up here into northeastern sides of the state. And we still have a little bit of that rain out there now. If you look at the radar view here, we got a little happy shower east of Kingfisher, west of Cashin. Yes, that's a little happy shower. It's not doing much. If you head out east on 40 from Prague, you also have some more happy showers. I'm going to call them happy showers. Why? I feel like like the painter Bob Ross tonight. Happy little trees. We'll call them happy little showers. Let's continue out there in eastern Oklahoma as well, up in toward Catoosa, Claremont. But you also see these little orange markers on here. Now, keep in mind, anytime you get a thunderstorm in the summertime, especially mid to late summer, there's usually a lot of dry air at many levels of the atmosphere. Even though the storm can still form in that environment, and it's hard, but when they do, they tap into that drier air and it allows for a lot more of that momentum transfer to come down the surface for downburst winds. So we get like microbursts, that kind of deal. And they can do some damage. So we had a lot of roof damage across areas around the Tulsa area, especially south on near Glenpool, and also east out here in northeastern Oklahoma towards Choteau and Pryor. So that continues here. Some things blown over, some power issues, that kind of deal. And there were a few of those scattered elsewhere over the state, but like I said, things are kind of quieted down now. But rinse and repeat. So for tomorrow, possibly on Friday, we might be dealing with that kind of a situation again. Okay, so back to the maps here for today. We did top out into the 100s again across most of Oklahoma, with the exception up here across the north, where the cloud cover and the early start to the rain kind of helped you guys stay on the cooler side. But otherwise, we topped out anywhere from 104 to 105 here in the metro area. A little warmer out west and southwest Oklahoma, close to 110. My goodness, I'm so over that, right? My lawn is over it too. My plants are over it. Jody's over it. She's having to water out there twice a day, keep them semi-alive. I usually just give up. This is what a hot Oklahoma summer does. We don't get these that often. Where it's 100 plus, for several days in a row. Once that happens, man, the vegetation it's just brutal. But out there currently, you can see the rain-cooled air up here in northeastern and northern Oklahoma. 80s have returned. 90s still down in the south. And these 80s was coming our way over the next few days. Now, we also talked about the fact they front rolled on through, right? Well, the key is here, I would say rolled. I'm not sure if roll is what you want to use. But it's kind of doing a little one of these deals, kind of snaking in here. Like I said, right about through my house here in Edmond area, back out here west on I-40, and it kind of just snakes in like this. So it's kind of a stationary front. I'm going to draw as a cold front. If it was stationary, I'd draw it red and blue back and forth, but we'll just leave it at that. And it's going to just kind of slowly sag to the south just a hair more, and then it's going to start to kind of wash out. The good news is, though, even though it's washing out, there's still a lot of convergence zones at the surface and just aloft to get us some more of that precipitation. So even though it's not going to do a whole lot, which fronts this time usually don't, as far as brute forcing of storms or colder weather, it's kind of a gradual oozing effect, a little bit of a delay with it. All right, so in the jet stream pattern, we talked about the ridge of high pressure, which would reestablish itself back out across the southwestern part of the country as we head into the weekend. And that would kind of put us into kind of a northwesterly flow and allow these little disturbances to kind of move through Kansas and kind of dip briefly into Oklahoma. And the models have really been struggling as to separate this. They're keeping the high out there to the west, but they're also kind of keeping this little ridging anchored here across the southeastern part of the country on into Texas. And so anytime that happens, that's kind of a block. We want the air to flow the clockwise around a high like so. So what we really want is this little energy that wraps around here to kind of sneak into Oklahoma from the north and west. That's what we want. That's what helps generate the showers. And we're just barely there. If this guy wasn't so strong and it was a little bit more diffuse or maybe completely eradicated, we have a lot better opportunity for rainfall around here versus what we've already got. Which what we got isn't bad. It could have been better. Let's put it that way. All right, so let's go through time here. The reason why I want to show you what happens as we head into the latter part into next week. We'll go to the end of this forecast period. All right, so we're going to go all the way to June 12th. Okay, so June 12th, what is happening in the upper levels, the jet stream? Well, the big ridge is now shifted here. Remember, it was out here, and it just migrated on over to this direction. And then we end up with a troughiness of low storms and pressure out here in the west. So west coast gets some relief with some rain. And also the heat out there in the desert southwest. Now, what that means is, again, airflow is clockwise around a high, so we're kind of in an interesting position here. One is, it will focus the heat away from us a little bit, kind of in this zone, but sometimes it will open up the Gulf of Mexico to have something come in underneath. So as long as this pattern holds, and sometimes it's short-lived and sometimes it's longer-lived, but once this pattern holds, it opens up this whole area of the coast, Florida, southeast, for some tropical activity. And yeah, some of that would come on shore, and sometimes they make it in Oklahoma. So we do have some potential coming up for the middle of August of some monkey business should we kind of see this pattern take shape. Okay, so let's go on. That was kind of a little bit sneak peek long range on the next week. Like I mentioned earlier, I'll tell you what, let's just go to the 700 millibar level, and I'll show you the red indicates mid-level lift in the atmosphere. All right, so we had some of that around today, hence the clouds and the rain. See, there's more of it tomorrow. You see how that kind of sits around the state, kind of back out to the west a little bit, so that's good. So as long as this mid-level lift is here, we have a chance for clouds and rainfall, and that continues in this forecast period all the way up through at least Saturday afternoon, looks like. So woohoo, there's more opportunities for rainfall. So let's take a look at the high resolution model on the short-term scale. Take it to Friday. Again, some showers out there currently. New development overnight tonight. Here's 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. So you're probably going to hear a little bit of rumble of thunder, so don't be surprised. As we head into 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock, you can see here in Oklahoma City, Tulsa, just kind of various parts of the state, northwest Oklahoma. Here's noontime. This stuff continues to kind of pop up. Pretty much there's no rhyme or reason. This is just a shotgun approach to the atmosphere. More activity out in the Texas Panhandle. So again, it's not a washout. It's dry many hours, and all of a sudden you get a nice little surprise, and it's dry again, maybe a little humid for you. Here's some stronger cluster of storms tomorrow evening across western and northern Oklahoma. How about that? The darker the red on there definitely means the stronger the storms in the animation of the radar in the forecasted view of this. On into Thursday night, Friday morning. Look at this. More rain. Look, have you noticed it hasn't stopped raining yet? This whole period it's been raining off and on, scattered in nature. All right, let's take you on the way to the end of the day of Friday, so 7 o'clock in the evening. Looks like maybe, a little bit of a drying out, maybe for a few hours. But again, miles won't be that good. The take home is just off and on, scattered showers and storms. So be prepared to get wet at some point in time during this period and have some significant rain for many of you. Unfortunately, I can't promise significant rain for everybody. The cutoff here, southwest Oklahoma, kind of something like this would probably be the least coverage overall. So that does mean that bulk of the coverage is across the northern 2/3 of the state. And if you look at some of these numbers, for example, and this is just where the models kind of show you the potential. Because remember, these are typically slow-moving storms, right? And they can dump a lot of rain in a short period of time. So here, 4.75 inches, completely not unheard of to get 4 to 5 inch rainfall in very isolated amounts, especially if you get some training. One storm goes over and another one comes right over you, right back to back. So keep that in mind. You could have some brief flash flooding. Hard to say that in an environment where we have a drought, but that is possible. Otherwise, like I said, some gusty winds, and then otherwise some nice rain in general. A lot of these areas are widespread 1 inch totals, 2 inch totals. And again, I can't promise you everybody's going to get that, unfortunately, because there are going to be some periods where some of you may not get hardly a drop, right? And you're going to be cursing at the sky. But the rest of you may be like, Uncle, I've had enough. I don't know. We'll see. Now, the other thing that this pattern is going to give us is some cloud cover. So say goodbye to widespread sunshine. So here's a look at tonight. All the blue, by the way, represents cloud cover, saturation. All right, so basically almost 100% saturation. And this is through tomorrow morning. So you see there are some breaks in the clouds, but there's not that many of them on our Thursday. There's a lot more clouds than there is sunshine. As we head into Thursday night and a Friday morning, same thing. Matter of fact, almost overcast over the majority of the state on into Friday evening, Friday night, same idea. So cloud cover will also be a deal, and the winds will be light and variable. Like I said, that front falls apart, so there won't be a big push one way or direction with the wind speeds. Okay, so for tonight, we're going to cool you down into the 80s and a few 70s out there across the state for tomorrow morning. And then tomorrow afternoon, it will be another hot day. All right. I know the weak front kind of came in a little bit today. Remember, it's a delayed effect. If you saw me at the beginning of the broadcast, we mentioned that for you. So here's 4 and 5 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see that temperature is getting close to the 100-degree mark here in central and southern Oklahoma. So some 90s for sure. No 80s I don't see in the map here for tomorrow. That will come for Friday. So let's take a look at that. So we'll cool you back down to the 70s for Friday morning. How about that? It's a nice change. And then as we head into Friday afternoon, look at this. We'll go to 2, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. What do you see? I see beauty. 5 o'clock. There's 80s widespread across the state. There's a few 90s that still sneak in there. And then on Saturdays, basically a repeat performance. A lot of 80s on Saturday. Maybe a 90 sneaking in there, but otherwise a lot of 80s for Saturday. And then we'll warm things up back again for you for Sunday. Let's see. What else I want to show you? Oh, this one I'll show you. Okay, remember the upper levels of the atmosphere? I mentioned how the ridge develops to our north and it should create the heat there. Okay, so look at this map here. This is temperatures in the anomaly. In other words, above or below normal at 850 millibars. Why that? Well, it's just a good layer to pick to figure out if you're going to have a transfer of heat to the surface or not. Okay, so currently we had 4 degrees Celsius today. All right, that's above normal of, say, 0, right? So obviously it was a little hot today. Well, so if you see something like that or hotter, you can imagine we're going to get a little toasty at the surface. But up here in Kansas and Nebraska, how about -3? So pretty good, right? So obviously the more blue you want for the cooler. So here's Wednesday. We still have a little residual. Remember, like I said, for today, let's go to Thursday. So here's Thursday. We start to replace a lot of that little pinkish or red color here in the state with some blues and some white sneaking into the north. Look at all that blue in Colorado. These are temperatures 10 to 11 degrees below normal at that level. So some nice pooling of cooler air. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is look at all that blue to the north, all right? And look at kind of how Oklahoma just kind of stays neutral. Now, as we head into next week, let's just go ahead and zip on through. Watch how the reds start to return here Sunday. You're like, oh, already? Yeah, I know. I don't want to give you the bad news, but I got to give you the bad news. Okay, so here's on a Monday. A lot more red on the map. Stronger, though. Deeper, darker reds out in western Oklahoma as usual on Monday. And also across Nebraska. Now, remember that ridge will start to build here across the central plains and kind of nudging into the north and the Midwest. And so now you get more red showing up, dark reds at that as we head into Wednesday of next week. I mean, here's some dark reds here. That's 12 degrees above normal. So they're going to get a real big taste of the heat. What are we? We're about 3 to 4. So what does that mean for us? Yeah, right back around the low 100s. So that's kind of how we ought to reside all the way up through Thursday. And then from that point forward, it kind of stays that way. The pattern's locked in through the 6th, at least, of August. So that's where most of your heat is going to be. So you'll get a lot of news stories of those guys that be baking. Whereas, we're our standard typical hot, but we're not terrible. And speaking of which, that's what it looks like as we go through time. For this week here in Oklahoma City, and surrounding areas won't be that much different, but we're going to get a respite here from the heat and top you out into the 80s for Friday and Saturday. That's what I'm focused on. But then, like I mentioned, back into the 90s, upper 90s on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, pretty much right around 100 degrees onward, and this kind of keeps us right around that boundary. Don't be surprised these numbers nudge a couple degrees warmer than this and extended as we go through time, but Thursday's still going to be pretty warm. Don't let it sneak up on you. You're still going to need to make sure you drink lots of water, seek lots of shade, all that kind of stuff. Because that heat, humidity combined will still feel a little more on the miserable side for you with the heat index values. Otherwise, you know what? Honestly, it's pretty decent. 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I did a Facebook Live, which hardly anybody saw because the Facebook servers, for my account anyway, didn't work. And so they didn't notify anybody that I was live, including myself. I thought, well, that was strange. But they did about 36 hours later, which did nobody any good. Anyway, so since you missed that one, what we did, we talked about the long-range forecast for August and mentioned how we're going to have this little ridge up across the northern plains, kind of sneaking the Midwest a bit. But then it was supposed to change again, and the ridge was supposed to rebuild way out west this time, like toward California, and put us in a deep northwesterly flow aloft, with off and on rounds of cold fronts and rainfalls we headed from the latter half of August on into September. So as long as that pattern change is still there, and I didn't look tonight, but this was a couple weeks ago, as long as that pattern change stays, our August usually isn't going to be that bad in that situation. Sure, we'll have a few 100-degree days, but we're also going to have a lot more days we're in the 90s, or if we're lucky, cloud cover in the rain, we're right back in the 80s, that easy. So that's some good news. So it's not all gloom and doom. But anyway, so that's kind of what I had here for you for tonight. So thought I'd go ahead and give you a live since we do have some changes. And many of you probably saw my blog that I post every Sunday in the afternoon. If you read that once a week, that pretty much gets you up to date on what you can expect for the whole week. That way you kind of at least know what's coming. Then sometimes we'll fine tune it. You can either use my weather app, AT's Weather to Go. You can track your own radar. You can track your temperatures for your backyard, all that kind of stuff. I'll do these lives every now and then when there's something significant to talk about during the summer, which isn't a whole lot, but it does happen on occasion. And then also made a big announcement that I did get my real estate license, and I picked a brokerage. So I'm with Metro Brokers of Oklahoma. So I'm really excited to do that. You're going, well, you still doing weather? Yes. I'm not quitting what I do here. I love this. I love helping you guys out. So I'm going to help you out in a different way as well, and that is finding either your first home or help you grow out of your first and your second. So I'm going to join Jody. She's been in real estate for 12 years. So it's kind of a husband and wife team. So we called it Team Tuttle Realty. So you can check us out online. We're on Facebook at Team Tuttle Realty and also on the website, teamtuttlerealty.com. Tuttle just spelled like the town, like my name, just right down here at the bottom. And we'll help you out. We'll get you squared away. The website's pretty cool. Got a lot of you have already signed on and used it and did some filtering, and you can do some serious filtering on this thing. This is high tech. And you can I'm amazed at how much you can actually pinpoint exactly what you want and what you don't want. It'll show you everything. It's nuts. So check it out if you're interested in doing that, and we'd love to help you guys out. I think that's it from me. Thank you, Sharon, by the way. Good. I'm glad you like my blogs. I spend a lot of time putting those together. So my Sunday afternoons are usually disrupted. I got to, stop what I'm doing, whatever it is I'm doing, and there's no telling what that's going to be. to put that together for you. And so I usually try to get it out, it depends on the time of the year. Sometimes it's, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Sometimes I can't get to it till 7. Just depends on, again, what's going on. I do my best to try to get those out for you. And I post those in the evening and on social media and kind of recap it in the morning. For those of you folks that missed it, that way you know what's coming up. You're not surprised. Like this week, for example, right? So if you were under a rock, you wouldn't have known all this fun stuff's coming here for the latter part of our week. Okay, I think that's all for me for the big announcements. So enjoy the rain, the cooler weather. Watch out for some of those winds, and we'll do this again soon. All right, take care, everybody. Have a good night. Sleep well.